Some of the most life-changing moments I have gone through were in the crucible of pain, where I couldn't do anything but lay on the ground and cry, God, have mercy on me. I don't want to go back. God, have mercy on me. I don't know how to go forward. But you've taught me about the cross. You've taught me about embracing the cross. I embrace it. As a new believer, some of you have heard this testimony. I feel to share it again. I was in a job I didn't like. I was far from any relationship. Janet was years before she met the Lord. I was living alone. I was in a job I didn't like. You know, my life was being taken apart. All of my plans for my own future had completely broken apart because I gave my heart to the Lord. And I was in, you know, a very dark, difficult time. But I knew I was in pursuit of the Lord, and there was this sense in my spirit that this was the right way, but I couldn't articulate to you why it was right. I couldn't articulate to myself why it was right. You know, the only thing I could say to myself is, you're out of your mind. Why are you doing this? Why are you living this way? You come to Christ and now you're crazy, and that's what everybody's telling you, right? Jesus has made you mad. But I had this sense of joy and peace inside of my spirit, so I said, if this is madness, I'm going to pursue it, because I knew I had met the living God, and I was in pursuit of what His plan was for my life. So against all the odds, against all the opposition, friends and family and people in church, you know, and it's like I'm in a church, well, look at these people, they're in worse shape than I am. It's like, oh my God, that's bad. But of course I was full of judgment and criticism, because I was looking at people in the natural, you know, out of my own pain and out of all the battle, because Satan was like after me. And there was a meeting in Brooklyn. Some international speakers were in this very large rented space, and it was late. I got to the meeting late. I had to work late. I came there, you know, in these dirty work clothes. The place was filled. Like I said, I got there late. There was like one seat in the back. I found the seat. I sat there with God, help. How many of you know that sometimes the best prayers are the smallest prayers? Yes. Help! Have mercy. Yeah. Here I am. I don't know why. Don't know what. Here I am. Help. And I was in that moment. And I'm sitting in the back. Some of the worship was going on, and the worship stopped, and someone in the front, I'll never forget, these are life-changing moments. There was a woman far away, never saw her, don't know who she is to this day, and this message, this intense message in tongues started to be proclaimed. And as that message was proclaimed, electricity started to flow through my body. You know, I started shaking. I could feel my eyes quivering in my sockets. I could feel the blood coursing through my body, and my heart was going like a trip hammer. And it was like, what is this? I got plugged into an electric socket. And then this vision opened up before me, and I saw in my spirit the cross suspended in the air. And behind the cross was this bright light, and I heard the light, the Lord, speak to me and say to me, Howie, do not be afraid of the cross. It is the place of exchange. You give me your life, and I'll give you mine. Don't be afraid of the cross. It is the place of exchange. And I'm watching this go. And then the next thing I know, this thing, you know, this fire is burning in me, and it comes up out of my stomach and out of my mouth, and I'm yelling out at the top of my voice, don't be afraid of the cross. You know, and I'm thinking somewhere in the back of my head, I have never done anything like this before. I don't know what I'm doing. People must think, but that was a very quiet little niggling voice, because this thing was like bursting out of me. You know, it's like I couldn't keep quiet. Don't be afraid of the cross. It is the place of exchange. Give God your life. He'll give you His life. Don't be afraid of the cross. And as soon as I finished that, it was like the electricity, the voltage started. I was can stop shaking and sit down. And then another brother, far away, a large group, stood up and rebuked me. Told me, sit down and shut up. And I thought to myself, I didn't want to stand and I didn't want to say anything. So I started to shrink into my chair, thinking, did I miss it? Then brother, the pastor who was running the meeting, he popped up, rebuked that brother, said, you sit down and shut up, pointed at me and said, brother, you have the word of the Lord. As soon as he said that, I said, oh no, because the whole thing started all over again. Heart race, eyeballs, I'm thinking my eyes are going to pop out, I'm going to burst. Oh my God. And it started all over again. Don't be afraid of the cross. Believe me, I was not laughing, but I was being changed. And I don't know if anybody else heard that night, but I heard it. So I learned that when I'm in the pain, when I'm in the process, when I'm on my face, when I'm in the difficulty, I embrace the cross. I'm not afraid of it. Because it is the place of exchange. I can give the Lord my Howie stuff. You can give the Lord your stuff. Whatever your stuff is, you can take it to the cross and let Him do that work inside of you that takes that stuff out of control. That stuff used to control you. He removes it from the place of control. You give it to Him and He replaces it. It's the place of exchange. He gives you His life, peace and joy and faith. And the faith rises up. Says, well, Lord, if you want me to work in this pain still forever, I will do it because I'm full of joy and peace now. I'm full of faith now. You know, when the Lord began to change so many things in my life in terms of gifts and ministry, you know, and things started flowing in ways that, you know, that I never saw myself in any way. And I know, beloved, that had I not had experiences like that back then, there's no way I'd be doing any of these things that we've done now for 30-odd years.